Hey there, woman in tech. Do you have a goal and you start working towards it and you face a little bit of resistance? And so you drop back, you kind of feel stuck, feel like it isn't moving forward, and it feels so darn hard. This episode is for you. Welcome to the Build Your Brave Career podcast, where we flip the script on the tired stereotype that women in and around the tech industry have to be stressed out, overworked, and underpaid. I'm Nicole Trick-Steinbach, the International Bravery Coach and your host. Forget what you've been taught. Bravery is not a personality trait available only to the brash. Bravery is a skill, and you already have it. Which is great because building the skill of bravery is the most powerful way to creating the career and life you really want. As you build your brave, you will stress less, work less, and then earn more. This podcast will help you do just that. Let's dive in. Today, I'm tearing down a lie we face as women in tech, and it starts with this question. Who are you making it easy for? Let me start off with why this question is essential. Many of my clients come to me as successful women in technology. They are ready for the next step, whether it's a promotion, a salary bump, maybe even a shift in their role. They're ready to go into a different industry or to work for a different product. They're hungry for growth. But somewhere along the line, and maybe this sounds familiar, they hit a wall. They hit a story they've internalized about ease and discomfort. It might sound something like, well, my boss doesn't want it done that way. Or my stakeholders complain when things change. Or maybe it's, if I shift to that other industry, if I take that bigger role, then things at home, they're going to have to change. And I don't think my partner is ready for that. Listen, I get it. Expectations exist in every single part of life. But here's where personal transformation and ease comes in. If you want to stress less, if you want to work fewer hours, if you want to have deeper, more impactful relationships, you want to grow your career with more credit, appreciation, visibility, time off, and yeah, a bigger title, bigger money, you cannot stay stuck. You cannot keep fulfilling the expectations and creating ease for everyone around you. Because growth and transformation, it requires discomfort. You will make mistakes. You might even fail as you grow and you change and you transform. But here's the lie. We've been taught explicitly and implicitly that as you grow and as you change, as you build new skills, new patterns, new habits, new relationships, and as you prune away what doesn't fit and isn't effective anymore, all of that discomfort must stay with you. That's the lie. Growth, transformation creates discomfort. And that discomfort is experienced by everyone in or impacted by the growth and transformation. It's not just for you, but for others around you too. You cannot grow and change without impacting other people. And that is why so many women in tech set significant goals for their growth, goals they can achieve, goals they get started on, where they begin to see the shift and the results and then suddenly back off because someone shows you resistance to change, which brings me back to the question, who are you making it easy for? If you're miserable at work because you've been overworked, but your boss is satisfied, guess who doesn't have a problem? Your boss. You're the one feeling stuck and exhausted. You're the one taking on too much. You're the one overworking under your boss's management. And when you begin To share that problem, when you begin to reduce your stress by asking more questions, clarifying responsibilities, setting and holding boundaries, your boss is impacted. And that's not easy for them, just like it isn't easy for you to be exhausted and overworked. Now, suddenly, your boss has to engage with your growth and transformation. Perhaps you're lucky and your boss is supportive because they truly didn't realize what was happening. And perhaps they'll struggle. They might even get angry. And right then, right there, in that moment, you must ask yourself, who will I make my growth easier for? Me or them? Let me share a very concrete story with you. A few years ago, I worked with this brilliant woman in tech. She gave me permission to share her stories, but not her name. She had all the credentials. She had the certifications, the degrees, the experience. She spoke at conferences. She was a published author. You name it, she had it. She had been working towards a promotion for over a year, but it remained elusive, and she couldn't understand why. During her performance evaluation while she was working with me, she was told she needed to, quote, build her leadership skills. Listen, if you've heard this one before, you know it is bull crap. It's vague. It is an endless task. So I asked her, what exactly do you need to accomplish to, quote, build leadership skills? And you know what? She didn't know. The conversation with her manager had been pleasant, even easy, enjoyable, but lacked the clarity she needed to actually advance. So together, we created a more specific conversation. I gave her a template for promotion preparation, and she went back to her boss and had a follow-up conversation. This time, she asked more questions. She took better notes. And yeah, it was a conversation of discomfort because her manager already knew she was not getting that promotion. It had nothing to do with her leadership skills. He just had one slot for promotion and had already chosen who from his large team was going to get it. That's a moment of bravery. She had a more specific conversation and got a more specific answer. But here's where she went even further. At that moment, she had to make another choice. Was she going to keep it easy for her boss or make it even more uncomfortable with another follow-up question? She asked the follow-up question. She said to her boss, "Thank you for sharing that with me. I would still like to make a checklist for promotion, and I'm formally requesting you support me for the next round. I understand I won't get this round, but I want the next round." And that is when it came out. Her boss was not going to support her promotion, period. He had a whole set of people he was going to put up long before her. She was heartbroken, so we worked on it again. We established a strategy emotionally and concretely, and she had another follow-up conversation with her boss. In that meeting, she chose to show her dismay, and she stayed in curiosity. Her boss got annoyed, and she stayed curious. Finally, he shared with her the truth, his truth. He told her she was indispensable to the running of his team. He saw her as a chief of staff, and his purpose was to develop her towards a career that, and I'm going to be very honest, suited him, did not suit her. And here's where I stepped in because objectively, her boss was nowhere near the level of seniority or power to have a chief of staff role. When she shared this with me and we dove into what she was actually spending her time with a time audit, it was very clear. She was being secretarial in function and perception. That's why she was being overworked. She was his right hand, but he wasn't senior enough to have a right hand. He got an assistant. And it didn't matter. I mean, it did matter, but it also didn't matter because even if he was at the level of seniority to have a chief of staff, she didn't want that role. She wanted her own functional role with greater responsibility, a greater title, and bigger visibility and engagement with the product team for the product she was working on. In shying back and in keeping the discomfort on her side exclusively, not only did she lose a year in career growth, but he never had to tell her what he was doing and why. He wouldn't have shared that. He was comfortable. He didn't have a problem. She did. She did. We used the materials, we used the coaching sessions, and with just 2 direct, uncomfortable conversations with her manager, she got to the reality of her position and the reality of her boss's lack of her career goal support. So, how'd the story continue? Well, within 3 months, she'd moved to a different role with a different manager in the same large company. Since then, because this was a couple of years ago, she has been promoted twice. She got that functional job that she wanted. She got that responsibility. She got the visibility, and she even got significantly closer to the product team. She's been clear from the very start in conversation and in writing about her growth goals, her career trajectory. She has gained bravery in driving concrete, specific, and sometimes uncomfortable conversation. And those results are great, but those results rest in facing uncomfortable truths, asking important questions, and deciding whether you are going to settle for the status quo of keeping it easy for them, or you're going to grow and transform and make it easier for yourself. Because bravery isn't about fearlessness. It's about navigating discomfort and using it as a fuel for growth. My client ultimately found out that no amount of leadership development would have secured her promotion. Her manager had already made a choice and a plan for himself and her. But throughout that uncomfortable process, she learned she had been making the process extremely easy for her boss and very uncomfortable for herself. That's growth. And then at that moment, that is where she decided and then kept deciding that she was going to make it midterm easy for herself. And that's the brave growth. So I ask you again, who are you making it easy for, and who will you make it easy for? If your answer right in this moment is not you, it is time to make a change and build the skill of bravery. Your transformation might look like a career change, or perhaps it's stepping up in your current role with a renewed sense of purpose and clarity. It could be pursuing leadership opportunities or launching a side project you've always dreamed about. Whatever it looks like, know this: it will require discomfort. And in that discomfort, you have the choice to choose bravery. You have to build your brave step by step. You can have more. You can make more money. You can have broader and deeper relationships. You can have a more visible role. You can work less. You can take time off. But those things only come when you stop making it easy for everyone else and start prioritizing your growth and sharing in that growth. As we close, I ask one more time, who will you make it easy for? If it's not you, it's time to rethink your strategy. If it is you, but you don't know how to start, please reach out to me. I can help. Your career and your life are yours. Transformation and growth are yours. It all starts with the skill of bravery. Till next week, brave it up. If the Build Your Brave Career podcast is helping you flip the script in your own career, if it's helping you reduce your stress, work smarter, or create more income, please share this with a friend.